Up next on The Bottom Line, we'll tell you about a new bill that cracks down on the owners of abandoned properties in the county.
It's amazing how many homes in the last decade have just frittered away like this.
Growing Girls STEM will go to an event designed to ignite girls' curiosity in the sciences.
I think it gives the opportunity, and there is an option, is to go into science, that they can do it and have a hands-on experience.
And a new stop for Metro at the Grosvenor Station.
A little more excitement at the Grosvenor Metro Station.
Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Susan Kennedy. There are hundreds of abandoned properties in Montgomery County, many of which are in rundown, crumbling condition. The bottom line is these properties are of public safety risk and can deter new families from purchasing homes in our county. But recently, a bill passed by the County Council will rid neighborhoods from these eyesores. When you pass by the front of 9303 Saybrook Avenue in Silver Spring, you will see a home that looks relatively tidy, but go around back and it's a totally different story. This home has been abandoned for close to 15 years.
It really is like a ghost owns the house next door.
And neighbors Lana and Neil Ray say it's been a blemish to the neighborhood.
And the problem is that when you live next to a neighbor who's in the house and a problem arises, you can go and talk about it. But in this case, we didn't really know when she left the house and we didn't know where she went.
An air conditioner unit had fallen out of a window, was dangling by the cord. We didn't know whether it was electrified or not. The window, of course, was open this far and stayed that way for a year or so.
But now, thanks to a new bill from Councilmember Tom Hucker, owners of these vacant, dilapidated properties will be subject to hundreds of dollars in fines if they fail to keep them up.
I mean, I certainly didn't know the extent of the problem. Some of them are very obvious in the neighborhood, but when you talk to our housing department, one of the things that surprised me was they don't even have a list of them. They don't have their arms around the problem, and that's really the first goal of the legislation we passed, is to sort of scope out the problem and create a way for the housing department to know how many there are.
Currently, owners of vacant properties can be fined up to $500 for code violations that are not addressed within 90 days. However, many times those cases end up in court where they are frequently dismissed. Hucker's bill creates an escalating scale of fees that cannot be contested.
In some cases, boarded up windows and doors. In some cases, gutters hanging off houses and things like that. And for several of them, big holes in the side of the house, big enough for rats and raccoons and other vermin to run in and out of the house.
Sold for more than $5 million in 2003, these two properties on Silver Spring Avenue have sat vacant for years. Back in 2010, the developer received planning board approval to redevelop the houses into a hotel, but so far those plans have not been realized. Not only are the houses an eyesore, but they have been known to frequent squatters, underage drinking parties, and other destructive activities.
Oh, it's a real safety risk. I mean, our first responders are concerned about this because blighted properties like that are vacant are twice as likely to catch on fire because they have wiring issues and other things like that. They're also targets for arson, just for either, kids that are playing in them or causing trouble. So it's the last thing you want in a community, and it's so frustrating in a place as nice as Montgomery County to talk to neighbors who have been next to one of these blighted properties for sometimes 15 or 20 years. It's crazy.
And in the Ray Silver Spring neighborhood, there are several more vacant properties in addition to the house next door.
The house directly across the street from us is one that we rented happily for about 11 years before we bought this one. It has been empty for about 2.5 years. It hasn't been updated probably since it was built in the middle of the last century, but it is a functional house, and he pays a lawn crew again to mow the lawn.
But it's amazing how many homes in the last decade have just frittered away like this. You don't sometimes even know when they've left. It's hard to identify. You just start seeing the gutters hanging off and realize, oh no, there's another one.
The Rays are hopeful this new bill will put a stop to these types of violations before they become a problem. The legislation will create a master list of vacant or blighted properties that will be registered and monitored by the county's housing department. Since Councilmember Hucker put the word out, he's had hundreds of residents report such properties in their neighborhood.
So it really is a problem that affects every neighborhood, and it is not good for, even if you don't live right next to one of these properties, you're paying for more police coverage for these properties because they attract crime, more fire coverage, and they're bringing down everyone else's property values, which means less tax revenue for the county and more pressure on us to raise other people's taxes to maintain the services that everybody counts on. So it's really a countywide problem, and I'm glad we have the beginnings of a countywide solution.
The county executive is expected to sign the bill into law this summer. In the meantime, housing officials will come up with a scale of fees to bring before the council for a vote later this year. Plenty of us have heard about the low number of women in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math. But at the Maryland Biolab, they are working to interest more young women in STEM by exposing them to hands-on opportunities.
Right, so let's say we're interested in developing a lactase pill.
These young women are working on science experiments not as a part of their regular required high school curriculum. They want to be here to learn more about STEM and if it could be the right career choice for them.
So this was open to anybody who's on our mailing list. The students are from a variety of high schools. We have Quince Orchard High School, we have some from Gaithersburg, we have a few students who are being homeschooled. So it was open first come, first served to the students, and we actually were very excited because for our first event it actually sold out.
We'll get started.
I'm in love with science. I like doing science, and I plan on going to pre-med, but I might, go more on like the science curve.
Both my parents work in the biotech industry, so that kind of comes from them a little bit, but I also just love science, so I wanted to come today and talk with other women in STEM.
This STEM leadership workshop was put together by the Maryland Biolab and MedImmune AstraZeneca, a sponsor of the nonprofit. Currently, there are more jobs in STEM than in any other industry.
Is your guess right or not?
Leaders say it's critical to expose women to STEM at an early age through venues like the Maryland Biolab.
The whole idea of the MD lab is a really terrific idea, and I think it gives the opportunity and brings science to these young girls to show them that they actually, there is an option, is to go into science, that they can do it and have a hands-on experience on actually what it means to be in the science, and I think that's the fun part about it.
So now what you will need is also this, right? Because you're going to compare against the colors. There's a grid on the back of that black bottle.
And these experiences can bring the subject of STEM to life.
Different types of milk or lactase into the different types of milk and seeing it break down the glucose in cow milk. Well, that's our hypothesis that it will break down the glucose in the cow milk.
I think it's good to prepare myself to know what I'm getting myself into as I get older. It's just good to start at a young age and just develop and know what I'm going to do when I get older. I am learning why I am lactose intolerant.
Looking at lactose intolerance.
Why everyone else is lactose intolerant.
How many people in here know somebody that's lactose intolerant?
So no ice cream for you.
No, but it's okay.
Efforts like this one are designed to close the present gender gap in STEM. Only about 20% of STEM jobs are held by women. Officials say it's time to be proactive to reverse that trend.
Well, I noticed when I was there, we had a really nice mix of young people trying out the different experiments. But, the real issue is encouraging women. I think we need to have a full frontal attack and continued effort to bring young girls and women and have them see what women can achieve.
When we do science, it's about innovation. Innovation is about diversity. And we, as women or girls, think differently, and that's a good thing. We bring different perspective. It doesn't mean we don't know how to do that. We absolutely, need more women in STEM and more women in science, more women in mathematics and engineering and everything if we want to continue to be innovative as a country.
Okay, one more time.
Metro is taking some of its older cars off the tracks, but before they head to the graveyard, a few have been repurposed and put to use at the Grosvenor Station. The bottom line, these old rail cars are getting a second life as shopping stops. If you happen to be at the Grosvenor Metro Station these next couple of weeks, you'll see something new. About a dozen vendors have set up shop in recycled Metro cars as part of a partnership with Metro and Strathmore Hall.
This is a neighborhood that doesn't have a sense of place. There are thousands of apartment units and no central gathering place. And WMATA asked us, actually Nina Albert, the head of real estate, said, how do I accelerate the creation of some activity at this place? And the answer is, let's do a pop-up.
These kiosks are open 3 days a week as part of a pilot program to bring ease and entertainment to folks who use and live by the Grosvenor-Strathmore Metro Station. At the official unveiling of the pop-up, General Manager Paul Wiedefeld said his agency is looking for any opportunity to transform space around Metro stations.
We have to think into the future. This system is our future, and we've got to make sure we constantly have that mentality, and this is a reflection of that.
Councilmember Nancy Florine told folks she is thrilled with the project and says these types of endeavors are what makes Montgomery County such a great place to live.
We're always trying something new, seizing the moment, looking at things differently, and making it happen. I am particularly pleased because the one thing he said to me, and this is going to benefit me personally, is tell them they need to sell flowers here. So I now expect that I'm going to be getting flowers every time my husband gets off the Metro Station. That's a good thing for me, it's a good thing for the community, and it really serves a great purpose.
Piles.
Robert Mojo is the artist with the vision behind the pop-up kiosks. He also repurposed parts of the decommissioned Metro car to create a sculpture for use in the central plaza of Strathmore Square.
I feel great with how this was put together. I feel great on the look of the kiosks. If you really have a vision, you could actually see them pieced together and generated into a full subway car, which is super cool.
The kiosks will be on display and open for business Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Friday afternoons at the Grosvenor Station until the end of June.
I like the enthusiasm, and everybody is around. They seem to be very happy with what's going on, and it's interesting to see the older cars on Metro and entertainment. It's like a happy place in the community.
A little more excitement at the Grosvenor Metro Station.
Well, that does it for this edition of The Bottom Line. For County Cable Montgomery, I'm Susan Kennedy. Thanks for watching.
Did you know mosquitoes can be carriers of Zika virus? The virus is especially dangerous to pregnant women. You can catch the Zika virus by being bitten by certain types of mosquitoes, Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus, or by having unprotected sex with someone already infected. The most common mosquito in our region is the Culex mosquito, which is not currently known to carry Zika. Get rid of mosquito breeding spots by reducing sources of standing water, like empty buckets, bottle caps, trash can lids, tires, etc. Wear long sleeves and pants and use mosquito repellent. Avoid travel in Zika-prone areas, especially during pregnancy. For more information, visit montgomerycountymd.gov/mosquito or call 311.
Did you know that your home can receive an energy checkup? Similar to our bodies needing a medical checkup to determine our health,
using too much energy,
your home can use a checkup to see whether it's wasting energy,
the nice little motor,
has leaks,
it's good not to have any air leaks,
and is costing you money. To schedule a quick home energy checkup, call your utility supplier. Best of all, it's at no additional cost to you. For more energy-saving tips, head over to mygreenmontgomery.org.
For those dealing with the struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for advice and support.